Imagine this. You wake up on a Saturday morning, coffee in hand, ready to enjoy a quiet start to your day. As you walk past your favorite Monstera, something immediately feels wrong. One leaf is turning yellow. Another is curling at the edges. The soil still feels damp. Your heart sinks. Within seconds, your phone is out. You search, why are my plant leaves turning yellow? The internet gives you 10 different answers. Overwatering, underwatering, too much light, fertilizer, no fertilizer, humidity, root rot, pests. Now you're more confused than when you started, so you water the plant. Then move it closer to the window. Then add fertilizer. Then, mist the leaves. 3 days later, the plant looks even worse. Sound familiar? Here's the truth. Professionals don't have magical instincts. They simply ask better questions before they make changes. And today, I'm going to teach you the exact step-by-step diagnostic system that experienced growers use to understand almost any indoor plant problem, without guessing. Once you learn this method, you'll stop treating symptoms and start finding causes. One of the biggest mistakes plant owners make isn't overwatering, or underwatering, or choosing the wrong soil. It's something much simpler. They try to solve problems before they understand them. Imagine going to a doctor. Before you even describe your symptoms, the doctor immediately hands you medicine. You'd probably leave, because that's not how diagnosis works. Good doctors ask questions first. Plant experts do exactly the same thing. Every unhealthy plant is telling a story. The problem is that most people only notice the final chapter. Today, we're going to learn how to read the entire story from beginning to end. By the end of this video, you will have a simple framework you can use every single time one of your plants starts acting differently. And trust me, once you learn it, you'll never Google, "Why is my plant the same way again?" Imagine you're a detective arriving at a crime scene. Would you arrest the first person you see? Of course not. You collect evidence first. Plant care works exactly the same way. Yet most people skip that step entirely. A leaf turns yellow, and within seconds, they've already decided the cause. The problem is that plants rarely communicate with just one signal. They communicate through patterns. A single yellow leaf doesn't tell you much. But a yellow leaf, combined with soggy soil, combined with a soft stem, combined with a pot that hasn't dried in 2 weeks. Now you're building a case. Professional growers don't jump to conclusions. They build evidence. Years ago, I noticed one of my pothose plants developing a pale leaf. Old me would have watered it immediately. Instead, I paused. I looked at the soil. Still moist. I checked the newest leaves. Healthy. I looked underneath the foliage. No pests. Then I remembered something. I had moved the plant next to an air conditioner 3 days earlier. The issue wasn't watering at all. It was constant cold airflow stressing the plant. If I had followed my first instinct, I probably would have overwatered an already stressed plant. That experience taught me something I'll never forget. The first explanation is rarely the correct one. In a moment, I'll show you the first thing professionals check before they even look at the leaves. And surprisingly, it isn't the soil. Here's something fascinating. Every indoor plant is constantly communicating. The question is, are you paying attention? Professionals don't rely on one clue. They collect 5. Think of these 5 clues as pieces of a puzzle. One piece rarely shows the full picture. Together, they reveal almost everything. Clue number 1, the leaves. Most people only notice leaf color. Professionals notice much more. Ask yourself, are older leaves changing first? Or newer leaves? Is the discoloration even? Or only around the edges? Are the leaves firm, or unusually soft? Are they curling inward, or outward? Each small detail eliminates possible causes. The leaf isn't simply saying, "I'm unhealthy." It's telling you how it's struggling. Clue number 2, the stem. Now look lower. Healthy stems usually feel firm and stable, but soft stems, dark patches, or unusual bending, often tell a completely different story than the leaves alone. Sometimes the stem reveals root problems days before dramatic leaf damage appears. Clue number 3, the soil. Notice something interesting. I didn't say, touch the top of the soil, because that's exactly what many beginners do. Instead, Pay attention to the entire moisture profile. Is water draining evenly? Does the soil smell fresh? Does it stay wet for far longer than normal? Has it become compacted? Healthy soil isn't just moist. It's alive with tiny air pockets that roots depend on. I once owned 2 identical snake plants. Same pot, same soil, same room. One dried normally, the other stayed damp almost twice as long. Eventually I discovered the slower pot had become badly compacted over time. From above, everything looked identical. Below the surface, the environment was completely different. That's why professionals never judge a plant from one quick glance. Clue number 4, the environment. Now step back. Forget the plant for a moment. Study the room. Has the season changed? Did you recently open a new window every day? Is the heater running? Did you move furniture that changed the light? Plants don't exist in isolation. They exist inside environments. And environments often explain problems long before symptoms do. Clue number 5, time. This might be the most overlooked clue of all. Ask yourself, when did the problem begin? Yesterday? 3 weeks ago? Right after repotting? After vacation? Following a heat wave? Timing transforms random observations into logical conclusions. Without a timeline, you're only guessing. Now that we've gathered clues, the next step is where professionals separate themselves from everyone else. They don't ask, what's wrong with my plant? They ask a much smarter question. What can I eliminate first? Let's continue our investigation. By now, you've collected evidence. You looked at the leaves, the stem, the soil, the environment, and the timeline. Now comes the part that separates experienced growers from everyone else. Professionals almost never ask, what is wrong with my plant? Instead, they ask, what can I rule out first? This tiny change in thinking is incredibly powerful. Imagine your plant suddenly begins drooping. A beginner immediately assumes, it needs water. But a professional pauses. They ask, is the soil dry? Was it watered yesterday? Has the temperature changed? Is the plant root bound? Did I recently move it? Could this simply be temporary afternoon wilting? Each answer eliminates possibilities. Instead of randomly trying 5 different solutions, they narrow the list until only 1 or 2 likely causes remain. It's exactly how detectives solve cases. They don't prove every theory. They eliminate impossible ones until the most likely explanation remains. Imagine 2 identical peace lilies. Both have drooping leaves. Plant A hasn't been watered for 9 days. Plant B was watered yesterday and its soil is soaking wet. The symptom is identical. The cause is completely different. If you treat symptoms instead of causes, you'll make one plant healthier, and the other much worse. That's why diagnosis always comes before treatment. In a moment, I'm going to show you a simple 60-second routine that can solve most indoor plant mysteries before you even think about watering. One of the best habits you can build is creating a consistent observation routine, not a complicated checklist. Just 60 focused seconds. Here's the exact order. Step 1. Stop. Don't touch the watering can. Don't grab fertilizer. Don't move the plant. Simply observe. Most mistakes happen in the first 30 seconds because we react emotionally. Professionals react logically. Step 2. Look at the newest growth. This surprises many beginners. They immediately focus on damaged leaves. Professionals often look at the newest leaves first. Why? Because new growth tells you what's happening right now. Old leaves tell you what happened weeks ago. Healthy new growth usually means the plant still has energy. That's excellent news. Step 3. Check the soil, not just the surface. Think about how the pot has behaved over the past week. Did it dry normally? Is it staying wet longer than usual? Has watering frequency changed? Patterns matter much more than a single observation. Step 4. Examine the environment. Walk around the room. Has sunlight shifted because of the season? Is an air conditioner blowing directly on the leaves? Did you recently move the plant closer to a heater? Sometimes nothing is wrong with the plant. Everything changed around it. Step 5. Ask one final question. What changed recently? That single question solves an incredible number of plant problems. Plants don't suddenly decide to struggle. Something usually changes first. The light, the watering schedule, the temperature, the humidity, the container, the soil, or even your routine. Find the change, and you've often found the answer. Now let's talk about mistakes. Not care mistakes, Thinking mistakes. These are much harder to notice, and much more dangerous. Mistake number 1. Changing 5 things at once. Imagine this. Your plant looks unhappy. You water it, move it, repot it, add fertilizer, mist the leaves, rotate the pot. A week later, it improves. Great. But, which change actually helped? You have no idea. Professionals change one variable whenever possible. That way they learn something every time. Mistake 2. Comparing different species. Many beginners ask, my snake plant and my calathea are in the same room. Why is one thriving and the other struggling? Because they aren't the same plant. Different species evolved in completely different environments. The goal isn't making every plant follow one routine. The goal is understanding what each plant evolved to expect. Mistake number 3. Expecting instant results. Plants move slower than people. Sometimes you've already fixed the problem, but the plant hasn't had enough time to show recovery. New healthy growth is often a better sign than old damaged leaves disappearing. Patience isn't optional. It's part of diagnosis. Mistake number 4. Ignoring normal aging. Every yellow leaf isn't a disaster. Every brown tip isn't an emergency. Sometimes, a leaf simply reached the end of its life. The key is recognizing patterns. One old leaf, probably normal. Half the plant changing. Now you investigate. Here's something surprising. The best plant growers I know aren't the ones who make the fewest mistakes. They're the ones who notice mistakes the fastest. That changes everything. Imagine walking into a room full of indoor plants. Most people immediately notice beauty. Professionals notice information, a leaning stem, dust on leaves, uneven growth, tiny color differences, the angle toward the window, the speed at which soil dries. None of these observations require expensive tools. They require attention. That's why becoming better with plants isn't about buying more equipment. It's about slowing down enough to notice what your plants have been telling you all along. Over time, you'll stop memorizing care guides. You'll start reading living organisms. And that's a completely different skill. A friend once asked me why one of his plants refused to grow. He had already changed the soil, bought fertilizer, repotted twice, purchased a grow light. Nothing worked. I visited his apartment. Within 2 minutes, I noticed something he had completely overlooked. The plant sat directly beneath an air conditioning vent. Every afternoon it received a constant stream of cold, dry air. We moved it less than 2 meters away. A month later, new leaves appeared. Not because we found a magical product. Because we found the real cause. That's the difference between guessing and diagnosing. If there's one idea I hope you remember from today's video, it's this: healthy plants aren't a result of lucky guesses. They're a result of careful observation. Every leaf, every stem, every root, every environmental change, is part of a conversation. The plant is constantly giving you clues. Your job isn't to memorize hundreds of care tips. Your job is to learn the language. Once you do, plant care becomes much less stressful. You'll stop reacting emotionally. You'll start making confident decisions. And that's when growing indoor plants becomes truly enjoyable. If today's video changed the way you think about plant care, make sure to subscribe because that's exactly what this channel is all about. We don't just tell you what to do. We explain why it works. If you found this helpful, leave a like. It really helps the channel reach more plant lovers. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the hardest plant problem you've ever tried to diagnose? Tell me the story. I'll read as many comments as I can, and your experience might even inspire a future video. Until next time, remember, plants rarely fail without leaving clues. The real skill is learning how to read them.